things are incredibly grim, and they continue to be. And they are especially grim when you start looking at how the Democratic Party has and had gone along with everything that has been happening in Gaza and everything that Israel's been doing. And this week, former State Department spokesperson Matt Miller, one of the bad Matts, who had been, his job was really to field questions about the obvious targeting of hospital workers and children and refugee camps, the obvious lies that Israel kept spinning, and for 15 months, launder the Biden administration's line about whether or not there were war crimes being committed, whether or not they were being seriously investigated, and whether or not there was going to be any kind of repercussions should it turn out that, yes, indeed, there were war crimes being committed, meaning were we ever going to stop selling weapons to Israel? And now that Biden is out of the Oval Office, now that Biden staffers are out of the Oval Office, now that they're all sort of trying to find where they're going to land next, it's fun to see Matt Miller sort of untethered. He was on a Sky News interview, and he was point blank asked if Israel was committing war crimes. And he made the mistake of saying yes. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. And look, you can come down on a couple sides of this, like, hey, at least he's being honest, or, oh my God, I can't believe you're going to so casually admit this and then not immediately follow it up with a massive amounts of responsibility, mea culpa, and a condemnation of the administration that you straight up laundered talking points and a genocide for. Take a look.
What's going on in Gaza now is a genocide?
I don't think it's a genocide, but I think I think it is without a doubt true that Israel has committed war crimes.
You wouldn't have said that at the podium.
Yeah, look, because when you're at the podium, you're not expressing your personal opinion. You're expressing the conclusions of the United States government. The United States government has had not.
Okay. When you're at the podium, you're just expressing the conclusions of the United States government. So in other words, he's saying, I was just following orders, right? But also, you're the spokesperson for the State Department. The kinds of things that you are privy to, the things that you know, and then the things that you know you're actively lying about are immense, are innumerable. And so was it a problem that they weren't personally asking you? Because I'm pretty sure journalists asked Matt Miller every which way from Sunday, all kinds of ways about what was like, is it okay? Prem Talker from Zateo asking about Hindra Job, the 6-year-old who was murdered while her entire family was murdered in a car with her, calling desperately for help. Then the ambulance and emergency workers that went to go save her also were killed until she was finally killed. And this guy spun and spun these lies over and over and over and over again. And now he's like, I mean, yeah, there were, but I mean, it's not my personal belief. I'm literally an empty suit. That's all I do here. And I have no conscience or a soul.
Not concluded they've committed war crimes. Still have not concluded that.
But your personal view is they have.
And
they were while you were there.
But yes. But here, let me qualify that there are two ways.
I love Matt Miller still hasn't learned. Look at homie's face. He's just, if you're listening, he's looking right at the camera, the interviewer, and like Matt Miller still hasn't learned that some of the things that he admits to, like, aren't incredibly jarring. Like that there aren't going to be follow-up questions. Because he's like, yeah, well, wait, hang on. What I'm saying is actually not that crazy. Let me qualify it. Let's see if he does it.
Is to think about the commission of war crimes. One is if the state has pursued a policy to deliberately committing war crimes or is acting reckless in a way that aids and abets war crimes. And that, yes, I think, is an open question.
Is it an open question? Well, first of all, number one, we know that states usually don't say, hey, this is a policy of war crimes. Hey, get a load of our genocide policy. No, they don't. They never say that. That's the whole point. Nobody actively admits they're doing ethnic cleansing while they're doing ethnic cleansing. But we know, just in terms of, I don't know, targeting so-called militants specifically when they're at home to maximize civilian casualty. That's an AI system, a policy, if you will, that Israel has pursued and continues to pursue. But so he's saying, making a difference. Well, if it's a policy, no, but now he's like, well, I think there were individual acts.
I think what is is almost certainly not an open question is that there have been individual incidents that have been war crimes where members of the Israeli military have committed war crimes. So ultimately, in almost every major conflict, including conflicts prosecuted by democracies, you will see individual members of the militaries commit war crimes. And the way you judge a democracy is whether they hold those people accountable.
But Israel hasn't. That's been one of the...
No, that's my point,
right.
is we have not yet seen them hold sufficient numbers of the military accountable, and I think it's an open question whether they're going to.
Well, okay, so if they don't hold the people accused of war crimes accountable, what about, like, so then are they a democracy anymore? I mean, I think by that standard, the United States has long not been a democracy. If you're talking about holding our own accountable for war crimes, didn't Kissinger just die? like, is he still alive? I never remember whether he's alive or has died. I mean, we know Cheney and his like non-existent heart is still alive, but again, the callous and the sort of casual way that Matt Miller can admit there are war crimes being done and not in the same breath say, and I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even be mad if he was writing a book about how much he had to lie. Look, everyone's piling on Biden. Why don't you pile on him? That I was then told that this was yes, it was terrible. Do I have regrets? Yes. Not that anyone cares about saving Matt Miller's soul, because he stood there and he lied time and time and time and time again. But it's just amazing that he even would I would rather him not say anything. Shut up, please. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuationroom. Do it.